Hello, and welcome to Shalom Bite Military Edition, which is brought to you by the PJ Library Military Families Facebook group, which I am positive all of you joining us are part of that. But I will go ahead and put the link to our room in the chat. PJ Library Military Families. We are so excited that you are here. And my name is Naama Krause. I'm an engagement associate with PJ Library, and I have the good fortune of working with our national and military families who hold a special place in my heart because I'm a military spouse myself. And a quick note about accessibility: if you are in need of captions, I have enabled them in the meeting. You are welcome to turn those on for yourself if you would like them. But before we get started, I want to make sure that each of your children ages 0 through 8 is signed up to receive their own books via PJ Library, and your children ages 9 through 12 are registered for PJ Our Way, where they get to choose their own chapter books every single month. So I was fortunate enough to attend a session run by Amy Bergman a few months ago, and I immediately knew she was someone I wanted to share with our military families, especially at the height of, or hopefully the tail end of, PCS season. So many of us struggle with having to fit our things in various different housing styles or have difficult time parting with things we may need at our next duty station. Amy's here to help us get organized and to look at our organized home through the Jewish lens of Shalom Bait, peace in the home. So without further ado, I am beyond pleased to introduce Amy Bergman, COO of Amazing Spaces. So Amy, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I am so glad to be here. Thank you all for taking your time. And I am going to share my screen. Let me know. Can you all see that? Is that good? Excellent. So welcome, welcome. Thank you again. And I am so excited to share with you some great tips and tricks about decluttering and organizing, and also giving you a framework of how creating this kind of space for us and our families is really a Jewish concept. Whether we realized it or not, it totally is. So if you have questions, comments, concerns as we go, please feel free, put them in the chat, and Naama will kind of monitor that for me. There will be a time at the end to ask questions. Many people have pre-sent questions in, those who are with us right now, those who are watching the recording later, and I have looked at those questions and I have lots of great answers. So I may be sharing answers to those questions as I go through this whole presentation and again at the end. So hi, I'm Amy Bergman. As I said, I am actually a native Floridian. I have also lived in Texas and Massachusetts, and through the wonderful world of camping, not glamping, I mind you, camping, real camping, I have visited most of the United States, except for Alaska, but there's still time. Actually, I also, for 20 years, worked in my own local Jewish community as a Jewish communal professional, including being the PJ Library professional for my local community. So I'm very excited to be doing this collaboration with all of you. So I left that world about a year ago and started my own professional organizing business called Amazing Spaces. This has been my passion my whole life. I have always been so fascinated and interested in organizing and decluttering. And so I went ahead and did all the things I needed to do and got some certificates in learning about being a professional organizer. And I'm continuing to do learning as I grow my business. So as we talk, I'm going to share all kinds of different fun quotes and memes. I love them because I think they help ground us. So it's kind of, did you know? Did you know that the Jewish people have all the time historically held a standard for a Jewish family life that is peaceful? And that is where the term Shalom Bait comes from. So I don't like to talk in Hebrewisms or Yiddishisms without breaking it down. Shalom means peace, among other things, and Bait is the home. So it's literally peace in the home. So today, what are we going to talk about? Oops, sorry about that. We are going to talk about peaceful interactions in the home. So it's not just about an aesthetic or the environment or the physical environment, but actually how we relate to one another and those who live with us. And that's part of peace in the home. We are going to talk about decluttering. We are going to talk about something I love to use with my clients. It's called the Use It, Love It Matrix. It is so great for you to use with anyone you live with kids. It's super cool. I'm going to talk to you about how to organize and declutter any space. And then we're going to actually take the whole concept of Shalom Bayit and we're going to talk about how we do it all year long. I am going to constantly say this because it's really important for people to understand. It is the #1 misconception. Decluttering and organizing is not a project. It is a practice. It is something that we work on every day. It is not something you do once, one and done, okay? So we're going to talk more about that, but I want you to, just keep that. Not a project, it's a practice. Okay. So Jewish values kind of give everything in Judaism a framework, a setup, right? And there's a million Jewish values, and I'm sure without even thinking about it, you are knowing and practicing Jewish values every single day, right? Taking care of your elderly relatives, that's a Jewish value, right? So I'm going to just share with you some Jewish values that are going to just go, oh my God, blow your mind. You'd be like, that makes total sense. Okay. The first one, and also forgive my Hebrew because it is not great. It is lo tov, as we like to say, not good, but I'm going to try. The first Jewish value is ishkapkut, which is simplicity. It is a Jewish value to keeping things simple. So I'm sure you've heard the terminology or the phrase, keep it simple, stupid, right? That is actually a Jewish concept. When you keep things simple, then it creates a more peaceful framework and environment for things. When we complicate things or we try to add too many things, when you pile on those afternoon activities, no go. It's not good. So simplicity is our first Jewish value related to keeping a peaceful home. The second one you may be familiar with because it is the Hebrew word seder. The Hebrew word seder means order. So you may be familiar with a Passover seder where we sit down and we have a big meal together for the holiday of Passover, and there is an order to that meal. We do this, then we do that, then we do this, then we do that. Finally, we eat, and then we do more things, right? So there's an order to that, and there are orders to many things we do in Judaism. But as a whole, the Jewish value of seder, order, is highly regarded. So in Judaism, we want to keep things simple and we want to have an order to things. And there's a reason. The next Jewish value is sablanut, patience. This is a hard one. Are we patient with the people we live with? Not everyone functions like we do. Not everyone is good at what we're good at doing. So how are we patient with others in our home when we are trying to create order, right? Something that takes me 5 minutes takes my daughter 15 and vice versa. I need her to have patience with me when she's explaining something new on the cell phone to me because I need her to have lots of patience, right? Just like she needs to be patient, I need to be patient with her when I'm trying to explain something to her regarding her homework, right? So patience, it's a two-way street, important Jewish value. The next Jewish value, you may have heard of, it's a very popular one, chesed. It's like one of those catchphrases, chesed, loving kindness. It's universal. Many Jewish values are really just human values, right? And this one, loving kindness and how it is related to creating peaceful interactions in our home. So kind of like patience, loving kindness is how are we giving each other kindness? How are we treating one another in the home or related to the home? And I would say to you that this also can be taken a step further, because there's our home, right? The physical home. But to me, when I say home, I'm talking about whoever is in your circle, in your home. They may not directly like live with you 24/7, but they're part of your home. I have one daughter who's away at college. She's still part of our home, right? I don't even like the terminology empty nest. I like to think of it as open door. You know, we're in the open door era of our family. People come and go, but they're still part of the home. Loving kindness. The next Jewish value is slicha, forgiveness. Okay, we all mess up. We all make mistakes. And in the home, it is a really important Jewish value for forgiveness, so that we can live peacefully together, right? So that is the fifth one. Number 6, another very popular Jewish value of kavod, honor. And I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with honor, but how are we honoring the people we live with? How are we honoring their boundaries? How are we honoring their possessions and their things? So I'm going to talk more about this as we talk about decluttering and setting up systems, but I'm going to come back to these values. So pay attention, because I'm going to come back to honoring someone else's possessions. And it's really hard sometimes when we have our own idea of what's important, not important, to lay those on other people. The last Jewish value I want to talk about is shitika, silence. So if you have any kind of Jewish background and you went to Jewish day school or a Jewish overnight camp, you may be familiar with the teachers or the counselors saying sheket, which is a form of this word, shitika, silence. And sheket, they may yell at you to say, be quiet. You know, you're talking, they go sheket. Or they may be nice and say sheket bavakasha, which means please be quiet. But silence, it is a Jewish value. And I will say this to you, having raised children of my own and in my own family, there is a lot to say about the peacefulness in a home with relation to moments of silence or pockets of silence. So these are the 7 Jewish values. There are more, and I'm sure you can think of more, and I would love to hear from you if you do think of more that are related to peaceful interactions in the home. Okay, I'm going to continue. I know that there's stuff in the chat, but I'm going to just hope Nama's monitoring that. Okay, so I've already talked a little bit about clutter, decluttering, but let's all get on the same page when we talk about what is clutter. Okay, so there's actually a definition of clutter. Clutter is anything that's unfinished. Think about this. And you're going to get actually a handy dandy card with this definition on it, just to keep around. Anything unfinished, unloved, unresolved, or unused. So think about that, right? Another definition of clutter for many people is, for some people, when they look around the room, anything that stops their eye is clutter. But I will say this to you, there are many people who are clutter blind, meaning the same thing that may stop your eye, they don't notice. So how are we living together with people with all different kinds of ideas of what is clutter and not clutter, right? Okay, unfinished, unloved, unresolved, unused. Love this quote. So Dr. Green says, just because something made you happy in the past doesn't mean you have to keep it forever. This is a really important thing to keep in our minds as we think about decluttering, as we think about reducing what we have. Maybe you're getting ready for a move again, right? How do we declutter before the move? And it's very important that we do this again before the move. And I talk to people all the time. I'm in South Florida. People move down here from other places. They call me, and I can't tell you, no matter how many times I tell them, declutter before the move. Don't pay to move things that you are on the other end just going to then declutter afterwards. I just say this to you. One way to really think about an item when you're holding an item, you know, think about it. oh, that used to make me feel so great. I loved that back in high school or college or whatever. It doesn't mean you need to keep it forever, right? And there's lots of ways we can do that. And we're going to talk more about that. So what do you think of these photos, right? These are real photos of real people's homes. No judgment, throwing no shade, but I want to just share with you that cluttered homes affect everything. So even if you're clutter blind and you may not see all the clutter, I will say to you, studies have shown that when we live with clutter, it affects everything. It affects our physical selves, our emotional selves, our relationship with others, and our mental well-being, right? So these are some real cluttered spaces. So I just wanted you to feel comfortable with that because for me and what I do, it's not always about an aesthetic. I don't like to just come in and go bippity boppity boo, poof, and things are perfect. I like to work with people to create systems that are going to work for them. And what works for one family does not work for another. And it's not about just looking pretty. It's about being able to find the things that you need to find and having what you need. So these are my top 10 questions that will help you declutter. Again, you're getting a copy of this afterward. Don't feel the need to jot them down. But I want to go through these with you. I can tell you that number 5 is my favorite, but we will get there. So these are questions to ask yourself as you start to declutter before you're moving, or maybe you've already moved and you're in a new place and it's not working, it's not fitting, whatever your situation may be. When you are challenged with an item or many items or a whole room or maybe a nightstand, these are the questions we ask. Is this something I use regularly? Okay. Doesn't mean if you say, no, I don't use this regularly, doesn't mean that you're getting rid of it. It just means that item is not getting what I call prime real estate. What is prime real estate? Prime real estate is that easy access in your face spot. You open the refrigerator, it's that shelf right here. You open your nightstand, it's that place in the front of the nightstand that you can just, without even looking, reach in and grab, right? Something that we use regularly gets prime real estate. Something we don't use regularly gets consideration. Are we keeping it or not? And if we're keeping it, it doesn't get prime real estate. It goes somewhere else, okay? 2, if it's not something I use regularly, do I just love it, right? So what is this thing? Is it just something I love, but I never use it? Is it something I just like to look at? It brings me joy. These are the questions to ask. The third one, am I keeping it out of obligation or expectation? This is huge, especially for the generation who still has an older generation alive. There is that pressure to keep and maybe even display things because you feel obligated or expectation to your parents, your in-laws, your grandparents, whomever it might be. In that case and scenario, I have even, and this is my little tip to you, created with clients a in-law box or a grandparents box, whatever you want to call it. It is a shoe box or a bigger box, whatever it needs to be, of those items that when those people come to visit, you then take out and put out on display if it's that big of a deal and that important. But they are not going to be cluttering up our daily lives if they are not bringing us joy for all homes, okay? Next, am I holding on to this because I think I should love it? So this is aspirational clutter, right? I should love this, but I don't, but it's here and it's just not clicking with me. Get over it, let it go. We're just going to let it go. Number 5, this is my favorite, the just in case. The just in case is a killer because we can just in case ourselves till the end of time. There's actually a really, really, really funny reel on social media about just in case. Like your kids are older and there's like the favorite, like there's like some kind of weird sippy cup. Well, the kids don't need it. Well, just in case someone comes over and they need a sippy cup or whatever it might be. The just in case could be the death of you. And unless it is like, here again, South Florida, unless it is like hurricane preparedness item, just in case, something that will help your generator run smoothly, but you don't use it the rest of the year. The just in case for emergencies is a good just in case. the other just in case we need to talk about, right? Because maybe it's just clutter. Number 6, do we have multiples of the same thing? Or I will say this to you, especially when you are looking at moving from place to place, and maybe you're going to an Airbnb temporarily, or maybe you are going to a smaller home in another state, country, or where have you, or you don't know where you're ending up on the other end. The multiples, and I would even argue you need to have things that serve dual purpose, okay? You need things that serve different functions. For example, don't show me in your kitchen that you have an avocado slicer separate from a potato slicer, separate from an egg slicer. No, 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 no. You need one tool that's going to do all those things. And I know you're probably thinking each one of those things is very small, but when you apply that to different areas in your entire home, it makes a huge difference. They're called uni-use items, things that are only good for one use, for one thing. And that's not what we want, okay? You want things that can serve multiple purposes if you can, okay? 7, could something else I own do the same thing? So that's kind of in the same vein. If you have multiple things that all serve the same purpose, then that's the way to go. And I would even say this could be down to your clothing, right? You have 12 scarves. You know what? Keep the 4 that are in the neutral colors that can go with all the different outfits. You don't need one in every single color or every single print, right? Let's kind of pare it down a little bit. Number 8, broken items to fix. And I will say this goes across the whole home, right? When you're looking at a certain area and there's something broken, be real with yourself. Are you going to get it fixed, or are you going to fix it? If it's sat there for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and still hasn't been fixed, get rid of it, right? Or if you want to create in your closet a tote bag where all of your to be mended clothing lives, great. But you know what? I want you to take your cell phone and set a reminder for yourself in 2 months that that bag is now going to the seamstress or to your friend who sews, okay? So don't let yourself off the hook in that way. Number 9, is this item worth the time I spend cleaning or storing it? Just saying, think of the treadmill in the bedroom. How many times do we just dust it? It's this huge thing. You need more space. You have a huge thing that all you're doing is dusting it. You're not really getting any use out of it. Think about the space that an object takes up, and could you just use the space more than you need the object? And then the 10 is, could I use this space for something else? As you move and you shift around, you are going to have to rethink and reconfigure. You used to use, let's say, your guest room also as the home office, right? So now you walk in and you have a new home with no guest room. Where's the home office going? Is it now going to be breakfast room / home office? Is it now going to be, I don't know, living room / home office? You have to think about using space in unique ways. And we are going to talk more about that, but these are just 10 questions. They're really helpful questions. You're going to get this printout to use when you declutter. So clutter, another great quote, Peter Walsh, if you don't know who he is like an organizing guru from Australia. Totally love him. He's written many, many books. Go ahead and Google him. Clutter is not just the stuff on the floor. It's anything that stands between you and the life you want to be living. Okay. This is that matrix I was talking about. This is so, so, so cool. It's 4 boxes. You're going to get this. Okay. You can print it out and use it with your partners, your family members, your kids, whatever. It's just a down and dirty, like hold that object, right? You have, I don't know, a throw blanket, let's say, okay? Do you use it and love it? Yes, your family uses it every night on the couch. That's what you watch movies with. You love it. Okay, great. We are keeping this item, okay? To the right, you use it and don't love it. Yes, we use the blanket every night, but we don't really love it. It's not big enough for 3 or 4 people to snuggle under, and it's not quite heavy enough. It's too light. Okay, so we're gonna have a discussion, you know, and the discussion may be, maybe we replace it with something else, or maybe we now go to 2 blankets. There's a discussion, okay? Back to the left on the bottom. We love it, but we don't use it. Yes, we love this blanket. It was something we picked up on a trip we took to to somewhere, but we don't really use it because it's scratchy and we all hate it. Okay, well, then let's have a discussion about this blanket, right? Then to the right on the bottom, we don't use it and we don't love it. Well, that's an easy one. Then it's out the door. And out the door, so toss, I want to just quickly jump in. Toss doesn't mean we throw things away, right? We can donate, we can resell things, and I can tell you more about all the different sources. We can share them with a friend. You can give them away for free in a buy nothing group, right? There are all different ways to get rid of or toss an item. So I don't want you to ever think I am saying toss like it goes in the pile of trash somewhere, okay? Okay, so now you're probably like sitting there like, oh my God, I need to do my whole house. This is all I hear. Oh my God, I need to do the whole house, the whole house, the whole house. Just bring it back. I always suggest where to get started. Start small, okay? Start with one area, small, and I mean like a drawer, a nightstand, small, okay? Why? Because number one, it's probably something you can do in 15 minutes, and I'm going to give you the steps on how to do any area. Starting small doesn't take a lot of time, and I bet you if you set a timer, you'd be surprised. Number two, it gives you a win. You're going to do that one drawer, that one area, that one little countertop, like, oh, look how good that looks. And it's going to make you inspired to move and do another area, okay? Another great place to start is I want you to start with somewhere that's an immediate issue. So what is an immediate issue? Something that you need to be decluttered and organized right here, right now for your daily life. That may be your entryway as an immediate issue. Maybe your kids are about to start school and it's their desk, okay? Immediate issue, another great place to start. The third area that's great to start, and this is kind of a toss-up, is either your common area or your primary bedroom. So common area, why common area? A lot of people love to have that one area that everybody else sees to be organized. By the front door, the living space when people first walk in. And so that gives them more peace and calm, is to know that the area that everybody's going to see looks great. And it doesn't matter behind the closed doors if it's a little bit chaotic. So if you've ever seen like people when they have unexpected company just start gathering stuff and throwing it in the bathtub and pulling the shower curtain closed, that's that. Okay. The other great place to start is the primary bedroom. And let me tell you why. The reason is your bedroom is where you start and end your day, right? You wake up and you go to bed every day in that primary bedroom. So if that primary bedroom is decluttered and organized, think about how you're going to start and end every single day, no matter if you have a crappy day or not, right? Another reason why the primary bedroom is a little bit easier of a place to start is because it's easier to say what does and doesn't belong in a bedroom. So one of the steps that we're going to discuss in decluttering any space is making a box or a pile of stuff that belongs somewhere else. It's so much easier in a primary bedroom when you look around at clutter and to just pull all the stuff that really belongs in another room or somewhere else. Because your bedroom is not serving multi-purposes usually, whereas other rooms in your house have so many different functions and purposes that they have more things that make sense in that spot, and a primary bedroom does not. I love this because the P word, perfect. There's two words I don't love to use. The P word, which is perfect, and the H word, which is hoarding, okay? Those are two words I don't like to use for various reasons. But don't let perfect get in the way of good enough. We are not going to live our lives like we see on Pinterest. End of story. Okay, we have to live our lives. We have the realistic expectations for what our homes are going to look and feel like, so that we can all live together in peace. Okay, so the 10 minutes clearing off the countertop instead of talking about how you're going to do a huge project in your garage is probably the best advice that I've ever heard. So now we talked about where to get started. I'm going to give you the how to do it. Here are the steps. It doesn't matter if you are doing a nightstand, a junk drawer, a whole bedroom, a home office, entryway, I don't care what you're tackling, take everything out, okay? Pull everything out. The first thing you're going to do, and this is the easiest step, and this is why it's the first step, throw out the trash. You're going to easily look around. If you pulled everything out of, let's say, your kid's toy room, right? Just throw out the trash. Something that you can't give away, no one else is going to want, it's broken, it can't be reused. Again, here's the belong somewhere else. Step 3, make a pile, a bin, a box of stuff that belongs somewhere else. This really belongs in the kitchen. It came in here because the kids were having snack one day when they were playing. This really belongs out in the garage. This really belongs in the car. Wherever it is, don't run and do it now. Put it aside to do later, because you will derail your decluttering and organizing process if you go to put every one of those things away where they belong. Leave that box that just says on it belongs somewhere else. Do that another time. Or better yet, have your kids help put those things away another time, okay? The next step is you are going to then pull out the stuff that you need to make a decision on. Maybe you use that matrix I gave you. Maybe you use the 10 questions in decluttering to make those decisions, okay? Decide what's staying and what's going. When you come up with what's staying, okay, think about where would you look for it, what makes sense, and make a pile of the things that are staying in that area that you are decluttering and organizing. Then, within the stuff that's staying, I want you to sort. I want you to put like with like. So Legos with Legos, Peppa Pig toys with Peppa Pig toys, kids books with kids books. Make categories. Kids can help with this process. They love sorting. It's like a game. You want to do like with like. You can even use Post-it notes and write down the categories so that it's easy to sort the items that are staying. Now, only now, you see this is like step 6, not step 1. You are going to measure the space. So again, if it's the kids' play area or toy space or whatever, and you have some kind of, I don't know, table with storage underneath, measure the space underneath wherever you think you are going to store these items that are staying, right? So wherever the baby dolls are going to go, or wherever the trucks, the little toy trucks are going to go, measure your space. Only then are you going to find bins and baskets, whether you buy them or not. I've used shoe boxes. I have used cereal boxes. You do not need to go and buy fancy containers and bins and baskets to sort and organize your stuff. You can use whatever you naturally have around. Now, what you naturally have around may not necessarily fit in that spot, so you may have to be a little creative, okay? But that's when you would then get the product. Then you're going to try it out, right? So try it out. Will the Legos fit here? Will the baby dolls fit here? It's kind of like a dry fit. Use the Post-it notes to place it in those areas to kind of set it up and see how it feels to you. Once you decide for sure where everything is going back, then you can finally secure all of the bins and the baskets and the whatever and put away all of your items. If you think it will help, I think it always helps. I think that no matter what age you are, I think labels really do help. And they don't have to be fancy labels. Again, you can Sharpie on a Post-it note. I swear to you, you can. Label where things go, because the visual cue will help people maintain and put things back. Now, I have to say, if you have kids who are on the spectrum, kids who are younger and don't read yet, it is worth your time to use photos instead of words, or a combination of two. So for example, a picture of Legos as your label is really impactful and helpful and helps kids put away the Legos. If you want to have the picture of Legos with the word Legos underneath it, it will help them learn with their sight reading. So one or the other, it is worth your time. It is not hard to do. It's literally taking your cell phone, taking a picture of something, printing it out, cutting it, and putting it. It does not have to be fancy. So that, I know it's a lot of information, I know it's a lot of information, but that's really the how to do it anywhere. Okay, so I wanted to bring this circle around a little bit into this whole concept of peace in the home, Shalom Bayit, all the steps we talked about. So there is actually a PJ Library book called Shalom Bayit, and there it is on your screen. If your kids get PJ Library books, there's a rotation. So you may or may not get this depending on your child's age, but you can always go onto the PJ Library website, and there are so many great resources. We can use this concept of peace in the home in reference to so many Jewish events during the year. So Shabbat, which is Friday evening till Saturday evening, every week, 52 weeks a year, right? We take 24 hours and we slow things down. In Judaism, we take a rest, we take a breather, right? That is the Jewish value of silence, of patience. All of those things that we talked about at the beginning, those Jewish values, are very much a part of our Shabbat celebration every week. All different holidays, right? You can relate this to many different holidays. If you are decluttering or organizing or starting in a new home or moving, how is that related to the Jewish calendar? So our Jewish calendar actually starts again this fall with the holiday, the New Year of Rosh Hashanah, right? That's a fresh start. That's a time to make new systems, new kind of thoughts for how we are going to live in our space. Family traditions and creating memories. Now, I know someone asked about creating a Jewish home, and I know that that can be challenging. You may be in an area where you don't have access to a Judaica shop even. PJ Library is a great resource because they're not only going to send you Jewish books to read with your children, but they also send you lots of really cool stuff during the year that help you live Jewishly at home. For example, one way that I look around and I know I'm in a Jewish home is we have a mezuzah on the door in our bedrooms. And a mezuzah is a little box that goes on the door frame that has the Shema prayer inside. Now, I can even show you, this is a mezuzah that I made out of Legos, right? And inside, I just printed out the Shema from the internet and rolled it up and put inside, okay? So even if you don't have access, you can do these things. And then I put it up with Velcro on the door jamb on my kids' rooms, right? So those are just some of the things. Another thing that makes a house a Jewish home is just having little things around that are like subliminal reminders. Maybe there is a jar, and it could be a mason jar. It doesn't have to be fancy. A jar where you keep extra change and coins. And that is your tzedakah box. That's where your coins are going to gather together. And then as a family, you're going to decide where to donate that money at the end of the month, the year, the week, whatever it may be. Because the concept of tzedakah, of giving, it actually means righteousness, but of giving money to those in need is a very Jewish concept. And that makes your house a Jewish home. And you read the books to your children. And there's so many different ways. But I just wanted you to know that by living a Jewish life and creating a Shalom Bayit, you are doing all of those things. So I wanted to leave time for lots of questions and answers. I post every day on social media, lots of tips and tricks and videos. So if you are on social media and you would like to follow me, feel free to do so. You'll get these links again in the follow-up email along with all of the resources. I do have a couple of the pre-sent questions that I wanted to address really quick, but I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I am kind of tired of seeing myself. Okay. Okay, so a lot of people asked about kids' art, greeting cards, schoolwork, certificates, all of that stuff. And I don't know you, but here we start school tomorrow. That stuff's going to start entering our homes tomorrow. And that is nothing but clutter. So I am going to say this to you. If you do nothing else, and I think Nama's going to put it in the chat, download the free app Archive, Artkive. what this is, it is an app and a website where you request a box. They will send you a box for your children, no matter how many you have, how many children you have. This box is where you are going to keep the artwork, the certificates, the schoolwork, the special stuff that they're going to start to bring home. It will hold up to 400 items in a box. At the end of the school year, you can go through the box one more time and edit out things that maybe weren't so special. And I'm going to talk to you about how you decide on that. And then you send the box back to archive, and they create for you very slim hard copy photo books of your kids' artwork. You can have it sorted by child, or you don't even have to go through that. You can just have it for that school year for all the kids in one place, or you can have it sorted by child, or you can do it by month, or you can wait for the end of the school year. Two things are going to happen here. Number one, this is giving you a place to put all that stuff. So that box just lives, I would say, by the door where you come in and out from school every day, right? If you have kids. Secondly, at the end of the year, it's going to then give you a place to send it, and you get back a very thin book, right? You're not keeping a box full of stuff, and it's going to cut down on your clutter. And that is true also for greeting cards. I know there was a question. A lot of people keep very special greeting cards from friends and loved ones and family. I do that too. And you can send the greeting cards, and you should see, when you go on their website, you can see examples. You can also create artwork on the wall out of your kids' stuff. They'll do all kinds of things. There's shadow boxes where you can switch out the artwork, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. I think the cost for getting the box is like $39.99. So it's not bad at all, and it's worth the investment. Okay, so somebody asked, how do I encourage my strong-willed children to assist in cleaning up their things, I would say, and maintaining their systems? So here's how you do that. Number one, you have to set them up right. Because if you don't set them up right, they're just going to fail, right? It's just not fair. So make sure that the things that are important to them are what is front and foremost. So when you ask your child, what are the 3 things that are important to you, right? And they say, I love my puzzles, I love my squishmallows, and I love to play soccer. Okay, whatever the 3 things are, those 3 things need to be front and center and have prime real estate in their rooms or in the space or wherever it is that you are asking them to maintain and put back and clean up. Secondly, it needs to be accessible for them on their own. Do not create systems that they can't reach on their own, require you to bring something down, open something for them, a door that has a clasp, a thing that they can't access. No, set them up for success. Part of that also is label, 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 label. So whether they read or they don't read, find a way to label where things go. Also, give them time and space to do it. It's not fair if you are rushing around and you do not have time in your day and you're asking them to maintain and keep things tidy and neat when there isn't space in the day to do it, right? So back up the schedule. Don't leave yourself 10 minutes to get ready and leave. Leave yourself 15 so that it incorporates 5 minutes to do a tidy up or a refresh or a reset before you go. Like that should be part of your family schedule and your family calendar, is that time in the day wherever it makes sense to you. Okay, I'm trying to get to all of these. Okay. So moving. So moving. So you're moving, but you're not going to the permanent place. You're going to a temporary place, and then you're going to the moving, right? So if you have the opportunity and you haven't packed yet, or you're packing, I'm giving you this solution. Painter's tape. Painter's tape comes in every color in the rainbow. Every color. Order it in every color. Here are the 2 ideas. Either assign a color to a person or a room, okay? So blue is the mom and dad's room, green is the kids' room, or green is the kitchen, and yellow is the laundry room. When you pack, instead of just using the labels that say laundry room, whatever, use a color. And then when you get to the temporary or the permanent, pull off a little, take these with you, pull off a piece and put it on the door jamb. So it's clear that all green boxes go in this room, because what I call entryway or I call living room, and if I write the word living room on a box, whoever's moving it or helping may not put it in the right place. So this is a great tip. Yes, great. Okay, someone's saying that's how they color code for the PS. Great, great, great. Yes, and the logbook is very important. Another thing that I know you guys all know about with the items and the documents you need to have with you, I call that a go bag. Your go bag that comes with you from place to place should have also organizational items in it. I just say this because I keep moving kids in and out, and the go bag is a savior. I always have a go bag with me. It's the bag that comes first. It doesn't go with the movers. It's with me. It's what comes when we go into the new space. A roll of toilet paper, a door jam. What is it called? What holds the door open? I don't know what it's called.
A doorstop.
A doorstop. Right. I always have a doorstop with me for some reason. My kids are always moving into places with heavy doors that slam shut, and we all get locked out of places. So for some reason, a doorstop is like a thing to have. I always have some kind of household cleaner with me. I always have scissors with me or a box cutter with me, because you pack that box cutter, where the heck is it on the other edge, right? Box cutter with me. So that is like that go bag. And I know that you have documents that you guys travel to and from with. That's really a critical piece for a successful move. Okay, another question. Oh, someone asked about modernizing decor. So we all struggle with this. You're not the only one. None of us, again, are going to have our entire home the latest and the greatest, style and decor. And by the time you do that, it changes anyway, right? I redid my kitchen 15 years ago. I wish I could redo it again, because now it's completely outdated and out of style. So I say this to you, and especially when you are moving from place to place, put your money, when it comes into changing your decor, changing your style, put your money into little things, not the big things. So make the big things very, very plain, non-specific, non-stylish, like very plain, and then throw in the newest and the latest, and to throw pillows and throw blankets and things that are inexpensive to change out. Same with seasonal decor kinds of things, because you can update and change your look much quicker with little accent things that don't cost a lot of money than making big sweeping changes like changing out the granite in your kitchen. So that's my best advice on that. I mean, maybe an interior decorator would have more to say. And let me see if I got all the questions. Did I miss any? Are there any in the chat that I missed?
I'm not seeing any in the chat, but I invite you to go ahead and put a question in the chat, or if you want to unmute and share a question, that's totally fine. But you have already answered so many questions through your presentation about what to do with children's art. How much should we be spending on things? I love the idea of using cereal boxes or other things that you can cut down to fit. And something you shared with me, which I thought was genius when we had one of our pre-meetings, was cutting cereal boxes to then put behind things to keep them forward.
To keep
Genius.
them forward. Yes.
So I love that idea of using things we already have, repurposing things, especially as we have to fit all of our old things into new spaces. Genius.
Sarah, did you have a question?
Yes, hi. I'm loving your presentation. It's fantastic. We are a military family who's moved from hot to cold, cold to hot, carpet to hardwood floor, all the things. We are now in a home we adore, and I am finding myself very reluctant to get rid of area rugs and curtain rods and curtains. I have here is the boxes of curtains from the long-term storage shipment curtains we've had that we've lived in every house have used. We do tend to reuse. I don't think our military journey is over. What advice do you have for me in this regard while I make sandwiches?
Okay, yeah, please make all the sandwiches. So
yes.
Is it that you don't have space to store the rugs in your new place that you're going, or you're not sure yet?
We do have space to store said objects. but it's the guest room closet.
Area rugs I would hold on to because they are more costly to replace. But I want to give you let me give you another idea. I want you to think outside the box. Just because the area rug has always lived in your family room living space, maybe in your new space it lives in another room. Maybe it goes in a kid's room, or maybe it goes somewhere else. If you have space to store it, I would, with an area rug, store an area rug. Curtain rods are going to be hard because those are going to be specific. So the rule of thumb in organizing, anything you can replace in less than 20 minutes for less than $20 goes.
Oh, I like that.
So that can help you make a decision about a lot of things, especially now with Amazon and other online shopping. You know, don't hold on to things and don't move things and don't keep moving things that you can easily replace if in the future the just in case situation comes up, right? Just in case. Yeah. Well, you know, those are all little objects that you could replace in Amazon. So I would say area rugs, yes.
Area rugs, yes. Curtain rods, no. Curtains, only if it's ones you love, but probably not.
Probably not. And also that's more of you're going to see with curtains, it's going to go out of style and size of windows, and no. And I'm not trying to waste your money. Sell them, make money back on them.
Sell them. Okay,
somebody else.
Good deal. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else want to jump in, unmute? I will share. I am guilty of having a bag of curtains up in my closet from our homes in Japan and Germany that have different size windows and cannot be used on American windows. And I'm torn between taking them to Goodwill, listing them on military pages. Say, is anybody moving to Japan and needs these curtains? Also
set a timer, Nama. If you are challenged with something that you've been dying to just do, like, oh, I need to post this online to sell, or I've been meaning to do this, set a timer for 15 minutes, because I bet you could get most everything done in the 15 minutes.
Probably.
I love using timers, and I love using timers when organizing, especially with kids, because we're just going to take 10 minutes. And it goes very quickly.
So would you suggest setting a timer every day, like after dinner, and say, okay, kids, we have 10 minutes. Let's pick up things around the house. Would you suggest doing that in the mornings? How would you suggest?
So some people, you know, again, some people are larks, some people are owls. What I'm saying is some people are better in the mornings and some people are better at night. I like to call it a reset. So some people like to do a reset on Sundays. Some people assign rooms, you know, everybody just walk in circles around this room and let's do a reset, meaning you pick up anything that belongs somewhere else and let's get it put away and let's reset this room. And you can tag team it in your family if you want to. You can do it together if you want to. Some people, there's a woman called the Fly Lady, if you're familiar with the Fly Lady, and her whole concept is you don't go to bed at night until your sink is empty and clean. And that, for many people, to wake up every morning to a clean and shiny sink is the best thing ever. Same concept with making the bed. You all know making the bed is like, it starts your day with one accomplishment, and then whether or not you have a good day or a bad day, you're coming home and that bed is made, right? So making the bed. The sink in the bed. Yeah. Well, ADHD and ADD is a whole nother thing. As a matter of fact, I'm in the middle of reading this book. If you're not familiar with it, I work with a lot of clients, a lot of adult clients actually, who are ADD and ADHD. And so that's a whole different thing. People on neurodivergencies and on the spectrum need different kinds of organizational systems to be successful, and what works for one does not work for others. And so I will say ADHD people, clear. They need to see everything they have. Clear bins, no curtains on the closet. For them, they need to see things. And there are other tips, but this is a great book. Yes, I hear you on that. So I would say a reset is a good thing, daily, weekly, whatever you want to call it. Again, it's a practice, not a project. So we're not going to just take Sunday afternoon and reorganize, the playroom and call it a day. No. It's a practice. So I hope that was helpful.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Becky's agreeing with your, if I
Yeah.
can see it, we're good. If we put it away, I don't know it exists. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hi,
I'm with you.
I
Hi,
have
Jessica.
sorry, the kids are running around, so I'm not taking the video off, and I'll try to be really quick. We are a neurodivergent household, like you were mentioning, and clear bins work great. 'Cause if we can't see it, it doesn't exist. However, how do you deal with if it's too much visual clutter? Then it's overwhelming too.
Yes, I get that 100%. It's hard because there's different people in that household, right? So what's going to make you crazy is really what the other people need to be successful. So I think location is really the answer. So yes, we want clear bins. Yes, the kids need to see everything, or the spouse needs to see everything. But for sanity of others, so it's not visually, is that around the corner, right? So can we create that in a place that's not so out? Do the clear bins need to be on the countertops in the kitchen, or could we create somewhere that's still open and visible, but not like in your face? I mean, without like seeing where you are and where you live, I mean, I could help you. I mean, I can help you virtually, but I'm saying like that would be what I'm saying. It is hard, and maybe finding parts and pockets of the home that are kept one way, and then parts and pockets of the home that are kept another way for other people is the answer. So location. I don't know if that was helpful, but it's my best answer without being there.
That is quite helpful. One of our challenges is we found out recently we are supposed to be PCSing at beginning of 2024. We were afraid that when we first got news, it was going to be in like less than 2 months, but we have a little bit more time. But it's the constant moving from different size homes, and sometimes we have places that things can be tucked away, sometimes not.
Okay, so when you get to the new home, I would say to seek out, like, have your eyes open for the areas where that would make the most sense, right? And also repurposing. So like a piece of furniture that maybe you use somewhere else, now you're going to use in the entryway, and you're going to have clear bins or storage on the bottom, so it's not like in your face.
Well, I do want to respect everybody's time because we are at 9 a.m. for me. So Amy, I want to thank you so much for your time. For those of you who have questions, feel free to reach out to Amy. I will absolutely send you her information. We so appreciate all of your expertise in helping us learn how to instill Shalom Bayit in our homes. And I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm going to make this presentation required viewing for my children later on today. Amy was gracious enough to share some fabulous resources that she pointed out earlier in the presentation that I will email to you as well, along with the recording that I will get to you hopefully later today or tomorrow. So feel free to put those to good use. And we'd love to see some of your before and after pictures of your organizing extravaganzas, if you're willing to share them in our PJ Library Military Families Facebook group. So as always, if you have any questions or suggestions for additional programming, please feel free to reach out to me at nkrause@hgf.org. I would always love to hear from you. Amy, thank you. If you're not following her yet on social media, I highly recommend it. You will just start living more organized life and feeling that peace in your home very quickly.
I promise. Just follow. It's free on social media, and you get lots of ideas that you can maybe use in your home currently or wherever you're going to.
Awesome. Amy, thank you.
Thank
you to all of you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.